like to greet all human beings all around the world with a universal greetings of peace and the blessings of God be upon you or with you. Tonight happened to be Friday the 13th, 2020, the time being about 7:47 p.m. Some people look at Friday the 13th, they look at Jason, Friday, you know, all these scary things. I don't deal with anything with witchcraft. I feel God will take care of Jason and all the rest of them. I want to let you know that when I say I greet all human beings all around the world with a universal greetings of peace and the blessing of God, I mean it. If you listen to my two daughters, in spite of all that they done been through from the age of 1 year old, taken out of their house by force, no justification, no court order, just the Charleston, Missouri Police Department, along with some of the judges, not all, along with some of the other law enforcement officials, along with some of these programs that's getting millions of dollars, along with some of these black and white leaders to get at me, they take them out the house. But you see, they still respectful. They done been falsely accused of stealing. They had no reason to steal. They tried to go to the Charleston R1 school district, but they wouldn't protect them. They allowed a white bus driver to do whatever he wanted to do with it. But then the Charleston, Missouri Police Department here in Charleston, Missouri, Mississippi County, along with the other law enforcement officials, because when I say the other law enforcement officials in Charleston, Missouri, Mississippi County, because when they see that a resource officer refused to question a bus driver because he white, and my daughter is black, and her mother mixed with Dominican and Puerto Rican, she refused to question this white bus driver who was left alone with my daughter, who decided he wanted to do anything he wanted to do with it at 5 years old, 60 pounds. Take her by the back of the backpack, the little loop, pick her up, it break, put her on the bus, front of the bus by herself, then go in the glove, get the apartment in the front of the bus, get a knife, hold on to the little scrap, cut it off. That terrified. Let me tell you what she told me and her psychologist. Not psychiatrist, but psychologist. She said when she was on that bus, with that bus driver alone, when she told him not to pick up, but he picked up anyway, and then took on the bus, father abused her. You see, if a black man would have did that to a white child, them white parents, I'll give it to you. You had all right to complain about it. But my daughter said she was thinking in her mind, I'll never forget it, February the 1st, 2012, she was thinking in her mind that she wanted to tell this bus driver to take me to the office and call my poppy because I'm afraid. But she stood quiet. You see what I'm saying? She stood quiet because she knew what he was doing was wrong. And the police resource officer, which a lot of black people complain about her, the way they do her kids, they kids. When they kids get into an argument or a fight with a white child in the school, the black child go to the detention center and the white child goes home with their parents. Nothing said, nothing done. But this is what I'm gonna show y'all something now. But my daughter's still respectful. Yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. But let me tell y'all something now. The last time that I can remember that the world came together is in the late 1930s when my dad's youngest brother was born in 1939. A dictator had arose. Give you a little education. A dictator, you know, in this area here, they probably respect. I'm surprised they don't have a street name after Adolf Hitler, because that's what some of the law enforcement officials and some of this system in the 33rd Circuit court here in Mississippi County, Charles, Missouri, that's what they act like. Adolf Hitler, David Duke. But let me tell you, Adolf Hitler rose, and Enoch, the world came together because they was afraid of Adolf Hitler. They was afraid if he took over the world. You see, the only ones that really had something to worry about is blacks and Jews. But the world came together. And either Adolf Hitler committed suicide somewhere in 1945, that's what they said, drank some cyanide, got in his lower bunker and drank some cyanide, probably didn't. Probably got off another country, let him in there where he can have some more Adolf Hitlers, because we have them all over the world, Adolf Hitlers. Still racism in 2020. But let me show you something now. Now, we've been trying to get this black on black violence stopped. We've been trying to get this racism against blacks and people of color stopped. But we can't get nobody on the unity side worldwide. But now that the coronavirus is out, the coronavirus to me and my family is just like if there was a depression. If there was a depression, we ain't gonna worry about it, because most of us as non-sellout blacks, we've been living in depression all our lives. But you say you have some blacks that get up there and get all that money and they forget about it. But now that coronavirus out, and I pray for all the people that may have the coronavirus. I pray for all the doctors and all the medical personnel that's trying to fight this virus. You know, me, myself, I believe man created it. You see what I'm saying? It's a heavy election here in the United States. I wouldn't want neither one of them to come in, Joe Biden or Trump. People is overlooking Barney Sanders just like they did Harold Washington in the 1980s. But you see, Joe Biden is no different than Donald Trump. One is a Democrat and the other one's a Republican. Donald Trump is being accused of doing criminal activities. So is Joe Biden's whole family. His brother, swindling the hospitals, saying that he got investors in Egypt to invest in their hospital and their medical program, but never he got loans from them, never paid it back. His son was involved in it. Some of his other family members, but y'all don't look at that because most of you blacks, all you think about is Democrats. But let me show you something now. Now, if the world would have came together like they did against Adolf Hitler, and came together like they doing this coronavirus, if they came together to try to help some of us blacks that live in black neighborhoods where you have some ignorant blacks that doing all these drive-by shootings, gang banging, and selling dope, you see what I'm saying? If you some of you people that's getting together like you're doing like they did with Adolf Hitler, World War II, and like they doing this coronavirus in 2020, if they came together and fought against this racism worldwide, people of color wouldn't have to worry about Ku Klux Klan, Nazis, skinheads, white supremacists. We wouldn't have to worry about my 13-year-old daughter walking into any establishment, whether it's black or white, worrying about some white female asking my daughter of color, is that a wig on your head? You know you don't supposed to be in here because you and your mother been coming in here stealing. Matter of fact, y'all was stealing in here today. But her mother is way in Chicago, Illinois, 400 miles away. What did her mother steal? Visa, the internet, baby, you pick up that. You pick up that. And the person that accused her is a meth addict. Now, they fired her just recently on March the 7th, on a Saturday, 2020, for a whole bunch of other things. But they saying mainly because what she did to my daughter and me. If that's the case, October the 23rd, 2019, some 5 months ago, when she refused to wait on me and another black customer, stood behind the counter playing with her phone, And when a white customer came in, she went to help the white customer. If she was going to get fired for what she done to me, it wouldn't have been no 5 months later. What she did to my daughter was February the 13th, 2020. It wouldn't have took March the 7th when you got a camera to see what she did. But let me get back to the main thing now. Me and my family is praying that God reveal whoever brought this coronavirus out. We're praying for everybody that has it. We're praying for all the families who lost family members from it. But all these nationalities, all people around the world, they canceling school programs, they canceling NBA games, they canceling baseball games. But if you can cancel all that for the coronavirus, it's another virus going on, an epidemic. Blacks is being murdered by the thousands by law enforcement officials worldwide, especially in the United States. Some blacks is terrified of coming out of their houses because of the fact you got blacks out here that's gang banging, selling drugs, doing drive-bys and hitting the wrong people. Let me show you for example. Now, when the CTA, the Chicago Transit Authority, when they got to doing all these shootings and robberies on the Chicago Transit Authority in Chicago, Illinois, the new superintendent in the mayor started putting SWAT teams on the transit platforms because they was in white neighborhoods. But if you could put SWAT teams there, put them in all these black neighborhoods where these drug dealers, these gang bangers, is taking over and killing our children, killing our women, killing our family. It's just a thought. But let me tell you, a thought was the cause of it all. Hitler thought about taking over the world, and he tried. You see what I'm saying? I'm going to leave it at this. No matter what you done did to me and my family, my daughter's still respectful. Peace be still.